Hey YouTube, it's Insko here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing yet another music challenge. The last music challenge I did was last Monday, where I tried to make a song out of your samples, and I was actually really happy with the final result. If you want to check out that video, the link is in the description. But today we're going to be doing a very popular music challenge, and we're going to be trying to make a song without hearing it. So I have no idea how this is going to go, because I'm not very great with music theory, but I'm going to give myself 1 hour to try and make a decent sounding future bass drop. Like I said, no idea how this is going to turn out, but let's get into it. So I have 1 hour. Where do I want to start? I probably should get some chords down. That's probably a good place to start. Like I do whenever I'm trying to save time, I use this app on my phone called Circle of Fifths. I'm going to screen record my screen now, but we're just going to choose a random key. I'm not going to be able to hear this either. I've muted the volume. So we're going to go with G minor, and we just go with these chords. I click this so that I can see how to make the chords, because like I said earlier, I don't really know music theory. So this is the chord progression I have. I don't know what it sounds like at all. I keep making the point that I don't know a lot of music theory, because I don't. And if I try to imagine what these sound like, I have a rough idea, but I honestly don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load up some preset, because that's probably the best way to play it. We're going to try a Sticky Sounds Elenium chord preset. We'll go with Heaven. What does that sound like? I don't even know why I said that. I can't hear it. So what we're going to do is put that in mix channel 1. Then what we're going to do from there is we're going to get a LFO tool, which is here. I'm going to use my preset called Perfect 1-4, and we're just going to leave it like that. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a limiter on it, and then we're going to get some drums going. So let's look through my samples and try and find some nice sounding drums. Right, let's try and see what these drums sound like. I don't even know why I keep saying that, because I can't hear it. I'm going to try look at this, because this kind of shows you the frequencies of everything, and then I can tell if it's kind of too much of a clicky kick or whatever. I normally EQ the high end quite a lot on the kick anyway, because I just like to have it more punchy than clicky. We're going to go with this one. I think that one will work. So like I said before, the key that we're choosing is G minor. So I'm just going to load up a MIDI and put all the notes of G minor in there. There we go. We have them all down. So now I can't go out of key. We need to find a snare. If we can't hear it, at least we can see it. I really don't know what kind of thing I want to go for. Like, I don't know what these sound like. We're just going to go with this one. I don't know whether it's distorted. I don't know whether it's nice, but we're going with that. I forgot to mention as well, all my projects are just automatically set to 140 BPM, which works best for me. So we're just going to go with that BPM. I'm trying to imagine what it's sounding like. We're going to put the snares on those, and we're going to try and make kick pattern. I quite like doing this at the moment, where I just keep it dead simple and then add like an extra one here. So maybe we can double that. And now let's get some hi-hats or something going. I just kind of look through all of my sample packs I have and kind of refer to the ones that I normally use. I think going with a Cymatics hip-hop pack could work. Just use some of those hi-hats. That could work. We'll just try and do that for a loop for now. Let's get doing some effects on these. So I'm going to add some reverb to the snare, just because reverb's always nice. I'm also just going to take some frequencies out of this bit here, because I don't know what it sounds like, but it looks a bit too punchy. So we're just going to take that down a little bit. Maybe like here too. Like, again, don't know what it sounds like. We're just going to kind of go with it. Now, as for the kick, I know exactly what I want to do with the kick. I want to try and get rid of some of that high end. I tend to do something like that. Again, don't really know how much I should be doing this by, but hey. And now what we're going to do is we're going to sidechain the kick to the chords, because that's what I always do. Then we're going to go into the limiter, click kick, and then just kind of turn that down a little bit. I guess we should get some sort of bass going now. I don't know whether to do a sub bass or an 808. What I tend to do is use a respace and a sub bass, just because that respace really fills up the chords. So let's try that. So I think we need to put it down like 2 octaves, and that should work. I hope that sounds good. So now we have the respace. I'm going to clone this and load up a sub. Now what I'm going to do with the respace is I'm going to set it to this preset and just kind of take some of that really low end out so that the sub can breathe a bit. What I also like to do with my songs is I tend to cut the chords like this on the first snare, and then also on the third snare as well, just because it helps give it a little bit of rhythm and keeps it a bit more interesting. This is super weird making a song without hearing it. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm being clever and being like, you know, confident and knowing what I'm doing, when realistically I don't have a clue. So if anyone came here expecting a banger song, then well, you have to see at the end, but I'm not feeling very confident. I'm just kind of doing what I always do. Gonna add a bit of pancake to that just to make it a little bit interesting. Not like panning really matters if the whole song's sounding awful, but hey. Okay, we've got 45 minutes left. I don't even know why I'm rushing. I've got ages. If I feel like the drop is done enough, then what I'll do is I'll try and make some sort of build as well. But I think what we need to do now is find some sort of vocal chop melody melody. Now, what I'd normally do is find a nice vocal, cut it all up, do my processing and stuff to it. But just because this video is, you know, me not hearing it, I'm not going to exactly trust myself to cut something up. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try and find some nice vocal shot that we can use and play some melody that will work well with the chords. So I found some vocal shots here. I don't know what any of these sound like, but I have a good feeling about this one. Like I said, I never normally do this. I normally cut up vocals myself, so these could sound completely awful, but we're going to try and make it work. We're going to load up a sampler, and we're going to drag this onto the sampler, set this to E, that's F. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and do some sort of processing to how I do it. This could sound completely awful because it normally takes me a while to get it right. It kind of looks like it has some reverb on it, so I'm going to trim this to maybe like there, because it kind of fades out, and then we'll also make sure that this is set up so it doesn't kind of just cut off. Okay, so let's try and play something. Let's look at the chords. So what I normally go off is like the top notes, so maybe start it here with like a D, and then here with a C, here with an A, here with an A sharp. It's not looking good already. It looks very sharp. I'm going to try and add some reverb to it and maybe turn the hardcore down a bit. What's this looking like? Okay, the input's not even that high. To kind of get some distortion out of this hardcore plugin, you have to kind of push the output a little bit so it's red. Then you get kind of a nice sound sometimes, but it's a lot of tweaking. That's why I'm kind of like, don't know whether it's going to sound good. Okay, how much time we got? 40 minutes. We're still on track. This is fine. Hopefully, I am actually able to produce a banger. And I'm not going to lie, if I do produce a banger, I am never making music with volume ever again. God, this is so hard because I can't hear. I'm trying to imagine it, but it's so hard because for all I know, this could be pitched up too high. What's it playing on here? Yeah, that's quite high. We're going to put it down one. I'm just saying, but if I do end up pulling off a banger, you have to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Chances of me actually making a banger is very small, but still subscribe, please. And speaking of subscribing, 86.3% of you aren't subscribed. So if you do enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe. I put a lot of time into these videos and I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers by the end of the year, so thank you. The other thing we do need to do with the vocal chops is add the LFO tool, and we also need to sidechain it to the kick. I'm going to automate this LFO. It's probably a bad idea, but I'm going to try and automate the rate. We want to put it from 1.4 to like 1.8. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the hats out of this bit, bring the hats in on a second here. Also, I just realized this percussion is probably so loud. And the hats, I haven't really done any volume changing because I haven't heard it. Right, let's check what time we're on. We got 30 minutes left, so we're halfway through. Let's try and get a build going then. Let's use this snare roll build up. So I think maybe a cool idea to do would be to take this pattern, make it unique. What we do is we'll do this EQ and we'll automate this so that on the build it's kind of going like this as it's getting quicker. I think volume automation is also pretty necessary for this. Then maybe what we could do is get a piano and make the chords play on a piano as well as like some other stuff. What I didn't think about is pads and stuff like that. I just found this pad here called G minor. It looks very loud. No idea what it sounds like, but I'm just going to trust it. So we have this nice piano on the build. Maybe we should get some build up kicks going too. How much time have we got? 23 minutes. Okay, I got this. I'm gonna try use this pad in the build as well, but obviously we're gonna put it in a different channel, turn it down, maybe something like that. That could work. And now I guess we need a sub bass as well for the build up, because otherwise it's going to sound really empty. We could actually probably go with the sub bass and the respace that we used in the drop, just obviously make it unique and use it for the build. I'm going to take some of this off like that, just because it's meant to be a bass. The res really ain't going to fill up much, I don't think, in the build. This drop just seems so loud when I look at that. It's hard mixing with your eyes and not your ears, I'm not going to lie. One thing I do actually is I sometimes record these chords in Edison and then I use them in the build-ups. Maybe that's a good idea. I honestly am so worried about the melody. I feel like I've made such a bad melody there. So the build should go something like this now. I don't know. That probably sounds terrible, let's be honest. Maybe doing something with an ARP on the build could work quite well, actually. I know for a fact that this preset makes a nice ARP. That's why I called it ARP. So we're going to use that, and we're going to take these chords like this, click arpeggiate, and we're not going to do that because that's going to sound awful. We're going to set the range to 1. And then we're going to change this to maybe like that. Okay, I think we're going to go with that. Maybe we should get some sort of like rain sound effect for the build as well. I think I'm going to use my fire ambient sample from my sample pack, which, by the way, is available with the link in the description. It's on my website. There's 2 sample packs for free on there. If you want to go download them, I'm already working on more ideas, and I'm going to be working with some of my friends to make some really good sample packs in the future. And like I said, they're free, so why not? Okay, that will do. And then maybe also rain. I also realized that this ARP just kind of comes in out of nowhere. So maybe we should like fade that in or something. In fact, I'm going to put the ARP right here at the beginning and kind of like fade it in the whole time. Also with this envelope, I don't know whether these notes here are like going to overlap or not. That's another thing that I'm worried about. What does span look like when I play the vocal chops? To be honest, it doesn't look too piercing up here. I felt like it would be. Maybe it's going to sound too muffled. Maybe we need to make it sound more piercing. Because it's normally this glass thing that does that. And it's quite low, actually. There you go. Look, now it's a bit more piercing. There, I feel like that's gonna be horrible, that section right there. So I'm gonna take that down just a little bit. I'm such an idiot. We haven't even added any like uplifters or anything. I need to quickly find the pack that I normally use the uplifters in. Okay, I just gotta hope that none of these are gonna just sound absolutely terrible. We need to put them in one called uplifters. Okay, so there's one. I normally put like loads on it, normally ones that sound like white noise, and I don't know whether these sound like white noise or not, so we're just going to have to kind of wing it here. Okay, we got 1 minute. Is there anything else I can think of that I would probably need to tweak? I think that's going to be good now. The drums look very minimum, and I normally add more stuff than that, but I think that's good. And there we go. That's the alarm going off. Right, so without further ado, let's hear what my song sounds like. Is it going to be a banger, or is it going to be a stinker? Okay, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's kind of better than what I thought. For some reason, this just didn't muffle on the build-up. I'll have a look at that in a sec. The LFO rate on the chords, I just completely did that in like the worst timing ever, or I messed it up because it just sounds really broken. It also sounds like there's not really any bass happening. The chords are really weak. Everything is just really weak. However, the vocal chop melody doesn't sound that great, but the processing actually isn't that bad. I thought it was going to sound worse than that. What I did after recording this video was made the song sound a little bit better, and it's going to play at the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications, because I upload new music related content every single Monday at 7 PM BST. But my name is Insko, and I'll see you next week.